#intro. Apple's sweating bullets, cloud giants are printing money, and fusion just got real. But here's the wild part: AI companies are finally making actual profit while simultaneously freaking everyone out. 7 stories that'll reshape your tech portfolio today. Stay for the one move that could change everything by August. Apple stockpiles inventory as it braces for significant supply constraints. Apple just doubled its inventory stockpile to over $11 billion, and this move tells us something crucial about where the tech industry is heading right now. This isn't just a supply chain hiccup, this is one of the world's most sophisticated companies essentially saying they're bracing for serious trouble ahead. When Apple gets nervous about inventory, the entire tech ecosystem should be paying attention because their supply chain decisions ripple through every manufacturer on the planet. What's happening here is that Apple is caught between two massive forces colliding. On one side, they're dealing with geopolitical tensions, semiconductor shortages, and manufacturing bottlenecks that show no signs of disappearing. On the other side, they're racing to integrate advanced AI capabilities into their products, which means they need cutting-edge chips in unprecedented quantities. By stockpiling nearly double their previous inventory levels, Apple is essentially buying insurance against the possibility that they won't be able to get the components they need when demand spikes. This is a defensive move from a company that usually operates with surgical precision in its supply chain. The broader implication here is that we're entering a period where AI adoption is about to accelerate dramatically, and the hardware manufacturers who power that AI revolution are scrambling to keep up. If Apple, with all its leverage and relationships, feels compelled to hoard inventory this aggressively, imagine what that means for smaller companies trying to source the same components. We're likely looking at a supply-constrained market for the next couple of years, which could slow down innovation cycles and keep hardware prices elevated. The race for AI dominance isn't just about software anymore, it's about who can actually manufacture and deliver the physical devices fast enough to meet demand. Investors love AI, as long as you're a cloud host. #AI's infrastructure gold rush, why Wall Street is betting big on data centers. Amazon just proved something fascinating about the AI boom that most people completely miss. While everyone's obsessed with ChatGPT competitors and flashy AI startups, the real money is flowing toward the unglamorous backbone of it all, data centers. Amazon announced it's not pumping the brakes on infrastructure spending despite massive capital expenditures, and here's the kicker: investors are actually rewarding them for it. This tells us something crucial about where the AI economy is really headed. The reason this matters comes down to basic economics. Every AI model that exists, from language models to image generators, needs somewhere to live and compute. That's where cloud providers like Amazon come in. They're essentially printing money by renting out computing power to everyone building AI applications. Unlike individual AI companies that are still figuring out their business models, cloud hosts have a proven revenue stream. They're the picks and shovels sellers in a digital gold rush, and investors know that model works. Amazon's willingness to spend aggressively on data centers signals confidence that AI demand will only accelerate, and Wall Street is betting they're right. But here's what this really means for the broader tech landscape: the AI revolution isn't democratizing technology, it's consolidating it. The companies with the capital to build massive data center infrastructure are becoming the gatekeepers of AI itself. Smaller startups and enterprises will increasingly depend on renting compute from these giants rather than building their own. That's a fundamental shift in how technology gets distributed, and it's happening right now while everyone's distracted by the latest model release. The real winners of the AI era might not be the companies making the AI, but the ones providing the foundation it runs on. Fusion power darling Commonwealth Fusion Systems raises another $1 billion. Fusion Power just got another $1 billion vote of confidence, and this time it's not hype, it's Commonwealth Fusion Systems proving they're serious about actually building the future. The startup announced a fresh funding round that brings their total war chest to staggering levels, and they're using it to do something most fusion companies only talk about: constructing their first commercial power plant. This isn't a prototype in a lab anymore. This is real infrastructure heading toward real electricity generation, which fundamentally changes how we should think about the fusion timeline. What makes this moment significant is the sheer momentum behind Commonwealth's approach. They've bet everything on a specific technology, high-temperature superconducting magnets, that actually works and scales better than the traditional approaches that have dominated fusion research for decades. While other fusion companies are still years away from demonstrating commercial viability, Commonwealth is already past that inflection point. They've proven their spark reactor design works in principle, and now they're moving to the next phase, proving it works economically. That's the real test, because fusion has always been technically possible, it's been economically impossible until now. The broader implications ripple across everything we care about in tech and energy. AI data centers are becoming power-hungry monsters, and traditional grids are struggling to keep up. If Commonwealth and other fusion companies actually deliver on their promises over the next 5 to 10 years, we're looking at a complete restructuring of how we power civilization. That changes everything from where tech companies can build their next mega facilities to how we approach climate change. This funding round isn't just about one company, it's a signal that the investment world genuinely believes fusion is transitioning from science experiment to industrial reality. AI price wars. OpenAI cuts GPT 5.6 Luna prices by 80% as model competition shifts toward cost. The AI price war just went nuclear, and it's about to reshape how you interact with artificial intelligence forever. OpenAI just slashed the price of GPT 5.6 Luna by a staggering 80%, and they're not alone. Anthropic and Google are throwing their own heavyweight models into the ring at aggressive price points, and what we're witnessing right now is the exact moment when AI stops being a luxury product and becomes a commodity. This isn't just about saving a few dollars per API call, this is about market dominance, and the stakes have never been higher. Here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. OpenAI is clearly feeling the pressure from competitors who figured out how to deliver serious performance without the premium price tag. By making Luna dirt cheap, they're essentially saying we can compete on cost and still win on quality. But they're also introducing a premium fast mode for their flagship Soul model, which tells us something crucial: the market is fragmenting. Some users want blazing speed and don't care about cost. Others want the cheapest option that still works. OpenAI is betting they can capture both segments simultaneously, which is a smart play but also a sign of desperation. The broader implication here is that we're entering a new era of AI accessibility. When the smallest, fastest models cost nearly nothing, the barrier to entry for developers, startups, and everyday users basically evaporates. Every app, every service, every business can now afford to integrate AI into their workflow. That democratization sounds great on paper, but it also means the winners will be determined by who builds the best products on top of these models, not who controls the most expensive technology. The real competition is just beginning, and it's going to be absolutely brutal. Companies are finally seeing AI ROI, and now they know how much more value it can deliver. #AI ROI is finally real, and companies know they're leaving money on the table. We've officially crossed a threshold. For years, AI was the shiny object every company wanted to play with but couldn't quite justify. That era is over. New data from a major enterprise survey shows that AI is now supporting nearly a third of all tasks across organizations, and more importantly, companies are actually seeing measurable returns on their investment. This isn't hype anymore, this is execution. But here's the twist: the same report reveals that most organizations believe AI could be delivering significantly more value than it currently is. That gap between what AI is doing and what it could be doing is the real story here. The numbers tell a compelling narrative about where we are in the AI adoption cycle. ROI expectations for agentic AI, the kind of AI that can autonomously handle complex workflows, jumped from 10% last year to 17% this year. That's a massive leap in confidence, and it reflects real-world wins. Companies are moving past pilot projects and proof of concepts. They're deploying AI at scale, and it's working. But the survey also uncovered something crucial: the organizations getting the best results aren't the ones with the fanciest models. They're the ones with solid strategy, clean data, and proper governance frameworks in place. This matters because it fundamentally changes how we should think about AI adoption going forward. The bottleneck isn't technology anymore, it's organizational maturity. Companies that can align their AI initiatives with clear business objectives, maintain high-quality data pipelines, and establish governance structures are pulling ahead. Meanwhile, those treating AI as a technology problem rather than a business problem are stuck. As AI becomes more embedded in everyday operations, this gap will only widen. The real competitive advantage in the next few years won't go to companies that adopt AI first. It'll go to companies that adopt it smartly. Everyone is freaking out about OpenAI and Anthropic's race for dominance. The artificial intelligence arms race just hit a critical inflection point, and the stakes couldn't be higher. OpenAI and Anthropic are locked in an increasingly intense competition for dominance in the AI space, and this isn't just about corporate bragging rights anymore. We're talking about who controls the most powerful technology humanity has ever created, and the implications are genuinely staggering. Here's what's happening on the ground. Both companies are pouring unprecedented resources into developing more capable AI systems, but they're doing it at a pace that's making serious researchers genuinely nervous. The concern isn't just about safety protocols or ethical guardrails, it's about whether we're moving so fast that we're outpacing our ability to understand what we're building. Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg is watching this unfold and raising alarms about ownership and control. He's not wrong to be concerned. The company that cracks the next major breakthrough in AI capability doesn't just win market share, they potentially shape the entire future of technology and society. What makes this moment particularly significant is that we're not dealing with incremental improvements anymore. We're watching two organizations race towards systems that could fundamentally alter how work, creativity, and problem-solving function globally. And while OpenAI and Anthropic battle it out, Black Forest Labs is quietly making moves in robotics, suggesting that the real competition might soon extend beyond language models into physical systems that interact with the world directly. The uncomfortable truth is that this race is probably inevitable, but the speed at which it's happening is creating genuine blind spots. We're essentially running an experiment on civilization's future without a complete understanding of the variables involved. That's not a reason to panic, but it's absolutely a reason to pay attention to what happens next. Gemini Robotics 2 brings Google's AI into the physical world. Google DeepMind just crossed a line that's been theoretically possible for years but practically terrifying to actually attempt. They've put advanced AI directly into robots, and it's working in ways that should make us all pay attention. Gemini Robotics 2 represents a fundamental shift from AI that exists in data centers to AI that can actually manipulate the physical world around us, and that distinction matters far more than it might initially sound. Here's what makes this different from previous robotics projects. Earlier attempts at robot AI were typically narrow and task-specific, trained extensively on repetitive motions in controlled environments. Gemini Robotics 2 appears to use a generalist approach, meaning the same underlying model can adapt across different physical tasks without extensive retraining. That's the leap toward what researchers call physical AGI, artificial general intelligence, that doesn't just understand language or images, but can reason about and manipulate real-world objects. From a business perspective, this is Google doubling down on their moonshot bets while competitors like other major tech companies are still figuring out how to scale their own robotics initiatives. But here's where we need to pump the brakes and think clearly. Putting powerful AI into machines that can physically interact with our world introduces risks we're still learning to manage. We're talking about potential safety issues, questions about who's responsible when something goes wrong, and the economic disruption of automating jobs at a scale we've never seen before. These aren't hypothetical concerns, they're real challenges that regulators, companies, and society need to grapple with right now, not after deployment. The technology is moving faster than our frameworks for handling it, and that gap is where the real story lives. Thanks for staying updated with Neural Brief. Subscribe, hit that like button, and enable notifications so you never miss tomorrow's biggest tech stories. See you next time.